He owns like a beach club or something like that. A hotel, I think. It looks like a hotel. And what this basically is from here on out is Casablanca. Yeah, or Casino Royale, or whatever. Yeah, it's a solid mix. I think the Casablanca one was very well considering. It's the only thing we're missing is A, World War II, and B,
23 is. Oh, so 50% off and a key. Either way, it was a key. No, it's not. Right. Yeah, it is. A key.
We'll eventually find out what that is, but he runs into the dude and he goes to her and he like kisses her and yeah. Oh, and we don't realize why.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to work anywhere. I have a breaker room? Oh, damn. I need some steps. I need a commissary, like, badly. I'm gonna stay here. Okay. Okay. That helps. I need food. Okay. 4 unlocked pickable doors. It's 4 keys, at least 8. Okay. That's the real door. That end. Gem. The gem in this one? Wait, where's the first one? This is just a bench. Oh. Wait. Yeah, it's this one here, isn't it? Okay. So that's the door to the real door. Dude, that'd be fun. Okay. That's the door to the real door, so is there gems behind this one? Commissary. Take the robbers from him. It's probably a lower level. What should we call it? Steps, dude. I got all this. I was so lucky. I was down to 1 door. And like, what? Less than 8 steps at one point. Laundered all my money. Found a turnip. You know.
And he's going to bed. He's like, oh, I gotta turn in. He walks over to the guy.
Now I'm at the antechamber. Did I go through the wrong door? I did. Got turned around. Okay. How can I do this with the least amount of steps?
I mean, it makes sense later when you realize he's in on the team. Yeah, he's like part of the. Yeah. But it's very tutorial.
Gotta go back. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. So then we start from there.
Try this door.
We're introduced to Farouk, who is.
I have to go through it.
He's like the right hand man to the main. I thought no, he's the main. He is the main villain. Okay, Farouk is the crime lord.
Senor.
Yeah, Ahmed or. Well, there's Quan is the other guy.
Enter the ball.
There's also this guy has a second
two.
Yeah. But yeah, his name's Farouk. We don't really learn anything about him. He's just like a bad guy who wants the
I can redraw.
Specifically, they say to.
Or I put dark.
This is revealed in I don't know how they know.
You gotta do one.
That he wants to like rid the world of undesirables and create a master race or something. But what the?
I'm putting a ballroom in, but I'm not entering it.
Filtered into the water system of the village time
Yet.
or city and decimate the local population. It's called ridding the world of so-called undesirables.
Okay, 6 steps. If I go up, it's 1, 2, that's 4.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
I can start over there.
This disc actually is.
I go to 1.
And they just know everything about it instantly.
Either way, it's
but anyway, he's
1, 2.
some guy to get information.
1,
On,
2.
He's like, there's some guy in a chair. He's torturing him. Like a big spinning
And
one.
5 apart from each other.
That never comes into this room.
I only get 1 door if I go that way. If I go to the right, I get 2 options, which could lead
Yeah, who was arriving at the hotel other than
that well. Or I go down to the ball. See, that's what I'm saying. Go up to the pool. You're probably going to need a diamond and a key. At least 1. If you need 2, then you can go into the ballroom. I think that's what that means. I don't think it adds to the diamond. You just get 2. So if you have 3, it goes down to 2. My guess. Description is, right? Is that what that means? Whenever you enter ballroom, set your gems to 2 gems. Whenever. I want it. Okay.
We'll learn more about that as we go. But I love, so then we cut from that to Michael Flatley goes to a church.
Okay.
And he's sitting in the pool and
Okay. Boiler room.
Every line of dialogue that everybody has
We're both good.
is the most cliche line.
Yeah, library help too.
He goes, he sits down and goes,
I think you gotta do boiler room and not go in it. Gem.
And then we go back to the hotel, and Eric Roberts and his girlfriend are like checking into their room or whatever, and we find out that again that he knows they like look at each other's room, Michael Flatley is believed. And then, but meanwhile, Eric Roberts is like doing work in his hotel room.
How can there's really anything in the way? I can direct the. Guarantee that there's.
I don't think there was a reason. At the very end of the movie,
I don't make a decision. Because I have 5 steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I gotta try it.
I gotta do some work. I gotta do my business stuff. And I thought she was aware that he was a bad guy. We'll find out she is unaware of the fact that her boyfriend or
see, it doesn't add it. It doesn't add to it.
Yeah. She goes from oblivion. Also,
now, technically, 1, 2, 3. If I don't get a commissary here,
capability.
I can get back. Yeah, but it won't let. Ah. Nothing in here either.
Like suspicious activity, but apparently her husband or fiance for 5 years has been engaging in like the most nefarious crime possible, and she's just completely oblivious. It was a comical scene of like
Aluminum Eclipse Ball, 1952. There, inside.
Are you? Honey, no, of course not. As they're having this conversation, like arms and weapons and like biohazard materials. Like his men are like carrying it. Yeah, like Acme TNT. I just have no idea where you would ever come up with this. What suggestion would you think? Honey,
This is
do me a favor. Take yourself out to look
yeah.
So then she's like, well, I'm going to go fuck off and go swimming.
Oh.
We're going to sit here and work. And we get
6 and 7. So, I should be able to figure this out now. Easily, right? Who's that? Under 6.
Then I also love there's this random 2-second shot that is only in this movie for one reason.
2.
It's just Michael Flatley's like room, and he's shaving in the mirror. And there's no reason for this to be in the movie.
Fine among the white.
He's just shaving in the mirror, and then we cut away from it. And it's only in the movie so that we can see Michael Flatley without his shirt on and see that he's got a six-pack. That he actually has a
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I swore I'd seen page 5 before at the very beginning. Alright. What's the answer? In the ballroom. Kind of wild. Alright. This door is locked. Okay. Conference room, whatever items been spread throughout the house, they are placed in this room instead. Didn't I have an option to spread something really? Spread gold or some shit. Maybe do a billiard room. That doesn't help me out. I need a damn commissary. Let's go. Gives me an option. Plenty of options. Even plenty of options. It's the same one, right? Safe code. The safe I don't think I found yet. No, it's the wrong code. It's 0303. Nothing else. Gems, no random floor coins. This is it. Hey, oh, plenty of options. The cloister, but I don't have it. Yeah, can I give you 2 now? I'll give you 2 later. There's. Oh, I learned a couple things. Let's go for the cloister. Maybe we can find some steps. I can't do the cloister. There's more to dig. Maybe there's an apple or something in here. What is with the damn pictures? I know there's a pattern. Probably should have watched it from the beginning.
I guess something happens. I don't remember how we get there, but then they all meet up because they realize that he's up to bad shit. They get a
What is that?
Somebody.
Nick just. What anything on here?
Oh, I've heard of him before. He's up to no good with that, like, community thing. Yeah. The plan is
It's like
So they say that on the hollow coin there is a recipe or formula for a, like an immune boosting like cure all basically.
it's like someone almost
The secret formula was stolen in London before the world's top medical professors. When ingested, the formula repairs and strengthens the immune system. Something that would make people like not get sick and not get you like you would heal them instantly of any injury or whatever. If you flip one code, it kills people. Yeah. Or I guess is the idea. Of the one component, but it has the opposite.
there's something. The O's up here.
And so yeah, the plan by Farouk, I guess, for reasons we will never have explained, is to like cull the human population for some reason. Again, whatever. Floating into the water system until each time we're sitting, it can decimate the local population.
The A there, and see the A here, they're the same.
What's your point, Nick? Well, again, the famous option. Yeah, it literally just they says like they want to rid the world of undesirables. Sure, I guess. For what reason? I don't know why, but yeah.
See, look at
What you would expect to have happen is Farouk should have like a monologue at some point where he like talks about why he wants to do this. He tries to sell it to the highest bidder.
I'm overthinking it. All right.
Yeah, so they're just going out to like whoever it's whatever. It's like a middle. Again, the point is none of this makes any sense because he only thought about Michael Flatley just wanted to deliver badass one-liners and kiss hot ladies. He didn't really think about like what the actual plot of the movie is. So it's
Eights. This is, I think this is someone trying to counterfeit something.
But Michael Flatley doesn't want to do anything about it because he says that life is behind us. This is none of our business. It's Derek Nick, I'm not going to say it again. We're not the men we used to be. That life is behind us. Can't do anymore. That life is nothing but ruin everything. You should know that. That life is nothing but ruin everything. And you should know that more than anyone.
Something sinister with a foot.
Then Michael Butler, because he doesn't want to do anything, goes back to his other room. But who should come and visit him? The hot singer lady just strolls in and gets naked in front of him in his hotel room. But he's like a gentleman. Yeah. He loves his dead wife. Get out of here.
What is this again? Stuff.
Also fairly certain they made, well, you may just be able to see them, but I think they also made Photoshop permicles out. I think, I'm not positive, but it was pretty funny.
Alright,
He can't, the memory of his dead fiance can't do that to her by sleeping with this super hot singer lady, even though she's just throwing herself down. Yeah, even though she just wants his old man drunk so bad. Then, because during that moment, then right after that, we get like a brief flashback, and then we just see Michael Flatley wandering through the forest, and then all of a sudden, some bad guys just like have his girlfriend, and that is I mean, we will see more of that play out, but the extent of how they got in this situation, there's no information. We know nothing about it. Never learned anything about why she was there, how that happened. He seems to kind of blame Nick for it for some reason. I need to move on from this, but I can't do it alone. She shouldn't have been there, Nick. She shouldn't have been there. I don't know, but she's being doused in gasoline. That's all we know. Yeah, at this point, we'll get back to that moment later, and maybe the best moment in the movie because of some acting done by Sir Michael Flatley. You think he's knighted? Probably not. He's American. I don't think he can be, right? I think you can be considered a sir if you're knighted as an American. Yeah, there's a different one, I think, for non-Brits, but I don't know. Anyways. Again, we will never. It's like we're only hearing bits of the script. It feels like there's a whole backstory that the movie's just not interested in telling us. But anyways, Vivian is really mad at Eric Roberts. He's being a dick to her at one point. He like slams the table and is like being really
Paintings and the letters. Study.
I need to take care of my business. So she leaves and gets hopped in the car with like
Ace.
going for a drive.
Those were all cards and rooms.
Yes.
Well, not all. Acre. Lace. Beard. Bar.
With Quan and his hacker guy. Now initially he loses track of the fiance, but he's not going to like restrain her. Well, because he tells
Study though. That's where we are.
I told him to like not follow her as closely because he was like, hey, why does Quan got to be all up in my business? And I do like Quan like waving
Pilot
the
though.
Coast Guard to like go him out to the yeah. He's like, Quan, what are you doing out here? I'm just following her. It's like,
It'd be an acre.
like, I'm forgetting about it. Come on, yeah, get on the boat. Let's go.
AC.
Come on out. Get this baby out to sea. And they go sailing, and while they're out at sea with their
Something with this shit.
they act like hacking, but he thinks he's just making balance transfers.
Unused parent. Glove, love, stay the same. Crowd, crow, so this is one letter changing it. Glove, love, the G. Sling, sing. Okay. Crowd, had the D. Okay, so these are unused parents. This is a parent. Acre. What's this guy? Acre. And how are the pairings? One. Ace. Ace. Acre. Ace. Acre. Face ace. Study. It's not his face. Guy's name face. What?
Get it done well. Because if you don't, I won't be very. And he's like, good job, you did it. And now I need you to transfer the money from some account. And he's like, there's no money in that account. I'm going to transfer 100,000 pounds from my specific account. And he's like, what are you? And he's like, well, the guy never paid. And he's like, fuck you. He throws it. And then a guy who I'm assuming is for the company who's chartered. Exactly, yes. That's the only way this makes any sense. Says, hey, you can't throw people off the yacht. Immediately gets his neck snapped by Quan. What are you doing? Can't throw people off the boat. Excuse me? Yeah, and then they throw him in the water and he's dead. And I'm like, now you got to deal with that. You chartered this. Because that's the thing. It has to be a guy who like works for the company of this boat thing. And now I'm sure the idea is just like Eric Roberts has the money to make this all disappear or whatever. But I was like, man, you got a hell of a situation on your hands now. You just murdered this random employee from this sailboat charter, and now you have to deal with that. I guess they do because it's never mentioned again. It's just like, it's fine, whatever. But yeah, it's incredible. Oh god. Well done.
Steve's batshit crazy,
Michael
dude.
Flatley and Vivian are taking a beach stroll as she explains how she met Eric Roberts, and it's like 5 years ago she was assigned to spy on him. And then it turns out that, according to her, he wasn't doing anything nefarious. He was, I don't know, whatever. And then they fell in love while she was. Yeah, I guess, whatever. And again, it was like so you were all, not only were you had not noticed anything in the intervening 5 years, when you initially met him, you were literally investigating him, and you still didn't find anything. You're so bad at your job. What are you doing?
What's about now? You can't go on living without love.
And he's like, he like acts like he's gonna kiss her for a second, and he's like, let's get out of here. Do you think like Michael Flatley, like he just wrote a couple of one-liners and then told like Chat GPT.
Yes, it feels like a movie written by AI. It absolutely does, because it's the most like generic, just like copy pasted shit you've ever can possibly imagine.
I need to talk to you about your fiance. He's not a good fiance, man.
But yeah, they get back that night to the hotel, and this is when Maren Tramp shows up and is like, "Your boyfriend's evil. He's evil, I tell you." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "She's evil." And I'm like,
He's selling secrets to war criminals in Africa. Very dangerous, man.
"You guys are spies. Trust your spy friend when he says that the dude you're with is up for nefarious shit. You guys have a history. Why do you not trust him? It doesn't make any sense."
You're not safe with
Heck
him.
no. You know he's a good person.
Come on, darling. You know I'm talking sense.
You don't.
But this is the point where I was pretty convinced that Michael Flatley had a hat fetish.
Yeah.
Because every scene, everybody has a different hat. Like all the time, it's wearing Tramp got this little like
The sun hat or
sun
something.
hat, and then what's her name? Vivian has the big floppy hat. He has this little jaunty fedora, and then like they change every scene. They just say hats, 20 hats. There's no way it's a coincidence. The dude is turned on by hats.
Again.
Yeah. Does he want to do anything? Oh, Sinatra. Maybe, but
The way he wears his suit in everything.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic.
You met my fiance, didn't you? So let's see. I believe you had something in mind. Maybe I do.
But anyway, so she's a little unsure, and she sees a brief when she goes back to her hotel room. She sees a briefcase on the bed.
The holodisc thing?
Does some snooping and finds a little holodisc and is like, "Oh shit, they're right. He has the thing they were looking for." And I thought, because then like he comes in and she's like hiding it in her hand, like while he's like talking to her, like right behind her, like, and she's like hiding it in her hand, and she's like freaking out, and then he leaves, and she's like, I gotta go get some water, and it looks like she threw it back into the case and shut it.
It's fine. I'll get it myself.
But I guess she didn't. She still has it. I don't know. It looks like she put something back in the case. But anyway,
She gives it to Michael Flatley, right?
yeah, she goes down there and gives it to him.
Yeah, and then they, I guess, duplicate it?
I guess there's two of them or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Make a copy of this. You gotta watch it. Very interesting.
But I love she goes down to give it to him, and she's like trying to convince him to help, and he still doesn't want to help. And they're like having this moment in his hotel room, and I love.
And look at this feels like the most Casablanca thing.
Yeah, the dialogue. She comes up to him, she's got her hands on his chest, and he's like,
I have no strength left to fight.
Do you have great strength left in you? I can feel it.
44 letters.
I can't.
she said, you have great strength left in you. I can feel it. It's so stupid. I can't. What you did is the bravest thing any man could do under this circumstances.
What you did was the bravest thing that anyone could do under the circumstances, but you can't let it ruin the rest of your life. Aside from the world.
It's all just ripping him off for being so amazing. It was just the worst written dialogue. He's an incredibly brave man. Yeah, it's an amazing.
Vivian, I would do
Prepare for each move. So, clearly,
I always loved you.
God. But then the singer is spying on them, and she's super mad when she sees them mash their mouths together at the end of the scene.
She got jealous.
Because she wants
8
to
by
mash
8.
them.
This would be D8.
6-year-old.
Okay.
Look, he's a jack 60-year-old.
No, he is. She knows what she wants.
He also owns a hotel. Very reliable source of income out of that. So, yeah.
Exactly. Why get paid when you can get paid?
But they were going to say right. Exactly. Anyways, yeah, so she's very upset. So she's going to tell them about
What?
something that she has the disc or who knows. She's going to
$50,000.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah.
1208.
The great, again, just more great dialogue. You can tell a lot about a man by the way he plays cards.
You can tell a lot about a man by the way he plays his cards.
No shit. That's dope. Is that the only?
I can tell by the way you raised on this amount that you think you're blah blah. It's just like they're like fucking psychoanalyzing each other. It's so stupid.
Well, I can tell by the way you hold your cards. You're very neat man. Since you're so keen on telling me what you can observe, you clearly wish to be seen as intelligent, which with the nose rather than narcissistic personality.
It came to the last hand, and I was like, it's gonna be a straight flush. It's gonna be a straight flush.
Full house. They said the game was straight flush, 9 through the king. They forgot to put in something else.
Because fucking Eric Roberts hits a full house, and then what's the only way to beat him? Well, it gotta be a straight flush. All right, great, amazing, fantastic.
How much are you willing to lose before you realize that at this table, the stakes are far higher than you can afford? I'll take my chances.
Also, apparently, and I didn't realize this, they call Michael Flatley the Blackbird.
Or they call you the Blackbird.
Raise 20,000.
The Blackbird is dead.
Because at one point they're like, that's why the Blackbird doesn't exist anymore. Because they literally just spell it out.
That's why the Blackbird doesn't exist anymore. Your fiance's death caused you to retire.
So thank you for stating that it's only possible. But during that poker game, there's a great moment. They don't even understand how poker works. Where fucking Michael Flatley raises 50,000.
Yeah.
And then Eric Roberts goes, I raise 70,000. And then it cuts from that to them flipping the next card.
Raise 50,000. Raise 70,000.
He would have to call that. He would have to call that. Why did you just skip that? Maybe you just didn't want to show it, but whatever. And then, yeah, of course he's got a royal flush. Absolutely amazing. Also, that scene drives me crazy because, like, the whole point of a scene like that, you would think part of it with the card playing is like them bluffing each other or whatever. But if you just have literally the best hand you could possibly have, you don't have to bluff.
The way that I think the way they did this in Casino Royale is you have Matt Nicholson, where he's like trying to investigate who either knows the information, who's investigating him. Like he's poking people for info. All Eric Roberts is doing is just being an antagonist and
taunting him for no reason. Yeah, it's literally pointless. They just wanted a poker scene. It's amazing.
I wonder what you love more. Women, money, or playing God.
Meanwhile, Matidi goes to like try to save. I don't know what he's doing. He sneaks into the hotel room where Vivian is being held by the Quan guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just sneaks behind him and shoots Matidi in the head. Well, we don't see it, but he pulls a gun on him, and then we cut back and he's dead.
I think Matidi was also there for another reason because later when they find his body, they pull the disc out.
Michael pulls the discs out of his pocket.
Why didn't they search him?
Yes, because because here's what it makes no sense, Kyle. They shoot and kill Matidi because we cut back and see him laying there dead. Michael Flatley finds his body, checks his pocket. He has both of the little hollow coins or whatever. Then we cut outside, and Eric Roberts tells Quan as they're leaving, go get the things.
Quan, get the formula and meet me in the shipyard.
It's like, go get the things, and he goes in there. I guess, but why didn't they check the pockets of the guy that they murdered? And how did he not? I don't understand.
Number one rule when you kill somebody, you
Check their pockets.
you open up their inventory and move everything over.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's so stupid.
Haven't you ever played a Bethesda game?
Yeah. Well, but then when he sends him back in, he goes inside, and he comes across fucking Michael Flatley at the bar, and in the most anticlimactic fight I've ever seen, which made Yes, and reminisces about his sad past.
Then he finally goes and confesses his sins, right?
Yeah, the next morning he wakes up. I love during the drunken flashback, just because we need to get it in there again, we see the naked lady, like, in his hotel room. I'm like, what? That's not relevant to anything going on here, but sure. But yeah, so he goes to the beach, or to the church. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
It's a red room. Where's the closed exhibit?
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. And I'm about to sin again.
Come on! Write one line that isn't the most cliche thing you've ever heard. Challenge impossible. It's amazing.
Like, one of my favorite, because I'm sure you know what I'm sure you have some of those confessionals and stuff like that. Whenever he like gets that panic attack and then like gets out of the confessional, he's like over a railing, and the priest comes out and says, "You can't blame yourself for that or whatever." It's like, whoa, buddy, you're supposed to be anonymous when you're in there.
Well, he knew because he.
Everybody knows.
I don't want that. It's just like, why would I want that right now? I will leave it there. I can always come back.
But anyway, so then we get the
It's just all the rooms are always locked. I think that's all I can find about it.
Where we see what actually happened with his fiance, and he rolls there in the woods fighting some.
You got one step left.
No reason we're ever privy.
And why was his wife there? Again, no reason for fiance there. It makes no sense. His fiance has been captured. He finds their camp, just murders everybody.
Keep going.
Shooting everybody. Isn't able to get there in time, and they light his fiance on fire, and she burns to death. Well, to death, thankfully. But we get these incredible shots of Michael Flatley just going for it, like in agony, watching this scream.
Oh yeah. I have an appointment.
So that he doesn't stop.
But in this case,
yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a different thing. Because he does. It's amazing. So then he's got to go finish this all off. They have Vivian. They want to trade Vivian for the hologram. So Michael Flatley shows up, and for some reason, they're not greedy, like whatever. And for some reason, Michael Flatley arrives. They search him, and then they have Eric Roberts has his men take him around the corner to search him again. Yeah, but why take him around the corner and make
because they're not going to show this.
only so that we don't have to see it because they didn't want to shoot an action scene of Michael Flatley because we just hear this like commotion around the corner and some gunshots and Michael Flatley walks around the corner covered in blood with two guns. Tucked into his waistband, baby. Oh yeah, what a badass.
Nick shows up out of the blue.
Yes, Mary Trent's like, Mary, it's to save the day.
That's for her.
Boy, didn't think I'd let you have all the fun by yourself, did you?
So he releases her, like he gives her the Eric Roberts like gives Vivian over to him for a second, and he like embraces her.
That one's usually in person, but we have done telehealth before.
It was you that gave me the strength to come and face this today.
Listen, we're probably never going to see each other again in this lifetime. What I want you to know is you gave me the strength and courage to come and face this today.
great, fantastic. But yes, they
It is telehealth.
but he just
So that one,
I guess they're the incorrect one, but he gives the
that one doesn't matter then.
fruit.
That's weird. So
He gives them to him, and fruit
it's
fucks up. Like,
telehealth.
I'm out of here. You're between you guys. Bye.
At 11. Yeah, we never made that.
Did you realize you're gonna die? Oh, and I love. He says, if you know, if you try to mess with me, I will be hunting blackbirds in the spring.
This is not what you think it is. You will be hunting blackbirds in the spring.
Michael Flatley says, you're making a promise.
Don't make any promises you're gonna keep.
Most sense.
Yeah. Almost kissing. They're just millimeters away from each other.
Oh,
And then
itch.
this is it. The big climactic shoot. This is the big moment. The face-off between Eric Roberts, our villain, and Michael Flatley, our hero. What happens?
Okay, that's awesome. Thank God. Now we're at
Okay,
just facing the
little
road.
self-aware.
Oh yeah, I got so
He pulls his gun down.
a little lopsided.
Shall we dance?
Get back to the pump room.
Fair enough. But yes, we get a screenshot as
One of the first times I've actually,
and we don't see what happens.
I think it might have happened one other time. I didn't have steps in the back. Sure. But I didn't have any keys or whatever. Fucking day 36.
We go back to the hotel. I just can't grab the house of talk. They clearly just ran out of time or something. They surely wanted to shoot that scene, but just ran out of time. Like, we'll just fade away. We'll do like a Butch Cassidy. I guess this is
Gotta take a break.
well, that's at the end. But before that, we go back to the hospital or the hotel because we see Marin Trant with his arm in a sling. Bandaged up. And my favorite thing is like there's like a model like hanging on him, but it's so awkward that she's like leaning in from the side, like with her arm. That like they could like I saw your character in Game of Thrones. I don't want to get too close to you. Yeah, they couldn't figure out a way to make her like be embracing him naturally, so it's just super awkward. But anyways, yeah.
Safe tree.
See that we cut the first. He's like testing the coin, and they realize it's fake or whatever. So he's all angry. He's like, "Oh, come get your blackbird." And then we see the main bad, or not bad guy, the big guy who's like running the special agent guys. He's in the car, and he has the disc or whatever. Or the woman gives him the disc. The other agent, one of the other agents or whatever, gives him the disc, and he has another
The whole.
incredible line.
The world may never know. Any of us do in the shadows.
So you got Ace. And what was the other one? Queen.
Every line is like that. It's so bad.
Face.
It's funny
And an Ace.
also like a 13
The face card.
just in a totally different way than Sunday. But yes, then there we get the funeral likely for Matidi, and then Michael Flatley is very sad.
This is
But
it's P.
hooray!
Michael Flatley picked up the and like, I really like that.
So start writing them down. You see him. What is this shit?
Famous movie quote.
Lightning script. Yeah. Using all of the most famous one-liners from action movies in history. Yeah,
Right.
it's not even like, think of those, not even like famous one-liners. It's like,
Just horribly generic.
yeah, like horribly generic action movie fun. Like, it's but anyways, Vivian shows up and finds him on the beach, and he's like, yay, I'm happy to see it. It's so stupid. This movie's bad movie. It's really boring. That's the biggest thing. And it's also like, it looks like a real movie for the most part. It sounds mostly like a real movie. Like there's not like the quality as a whole is not terrible. It's really just the script and the performances that are. Michael Flatley's definitive character. Yeah, he is not an actor and not a screenwriter. That is for damn sure. It's enjoyable at times, but mostly the story, unfortunately. So. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, you can go to Patreon.com. You can support us for some bonus content. If you would like to do that, you can also support us by going over to pt15. search for Good, Better, Bad, Bad Quantum Physics, and you'll find our merch.
Back from the web. XRP is up.
Branding, other things. Anything you want with a Good, Better, Bad, Bad logo, you can get it. I have a podcast called This Film Is Everything About Movies that are based on this. This episode, out in the back. I'm being dramatic, but it is horrific. Mike, are you actually repairing a VCR?
Oh, of course not, Jay. Since I broke the last keyboard, I've rewired the circuit board in this VCR to function as the new keyboard. All I have to do is make slight adjustments like this every time I want to input one of the keys.
And I can just run down the street and buy a new keyboard.
Yeah, right. What are you, nuts? Not with all these new tariffs. Do you know how much keyboards are now? I don't, but I'm sure they're a lot because of the tariffs. You know, why buy a keyboard when we have all this perfectly good circuitry? Every time I need to input a key from the keyboard, I manually adjust each circuit.
So what are you trying to do?
Oh, I'm doing a Google search. I was just really curious who wrote the song Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know, for that movie Mary Poppins. So I'm at the U, which I think is on circuit 468A, www. Oh, I have to do the website first.
Spare key. Oh, that is spare
I
stuff.
started to type, but I think I'm in Microsoft
No
Word.
chest. What are the pictures? We got
out of here.
tag
I have to do the commands like file
and stay.
Yeah, this seems like it's a very time-consuming process with this particular key.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what options do I have?
You raise a good point, sir.
So it's E, not
I gotta get out of
P.
Microsoft Word and get to a web browser. So
Good.
file new. I don't have mouse function on here.
No.
Sometimes that involves pressing down multiple spots at the same time. So I may have to like chain like 5 or 6 different circuit boards together from a bunch of different yards.
Oh. Am I going to have to do anything?
Yeah, I'll need your help. We may need to get maybe 16 to 30 other people in here also with sharp, pointy instruments to also press down on certain parts of keyboards, all in sync to kind of do these complicated functions.
So you can do your Google search.
Right.
Mike, do you even know how to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
No, I don't. I'll look it up on the phone. How do you spell super? Hoping the autofill function takes over here because I don't know how to spell it.
Well, that's yeah.
Maybe super. There it is. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay. I'm just going to screen grab that and send that to my email and then have it remote printed out onto an 8x10 glossy so that I could set it up in front of me and have it on file.
Oh, the printer's in the back and it's out of ink.
This all seems way too complicated. Maybe I'll just kill myself.
Hello, and welcome to a very special Half in the Bag, where we talk about a very special film.
I'm always picking the winners. Always picking the winners.
We gotta rush through. This is kind of our 2025 mid-year catch-up, but we gotta rush through all this crap so we can get to the real star of the show.
Yes, everybody. Jay and I were discussing which films we've watched so far since our last recap.
We did a mini recap in our video about box office.
Yes.
Beyond the Black and White video, we talked about a few different movies in there, so we won't
We won't
I don't
recap
care.
those again. Go back and watch that video.
I'm playing like it's
And,
my first time.
Discussing the movies we watched, I said, Jay, have you seen this magical film? I think it would be up your alley. And you said you had not, so I told you to watch it. And apparently it struck a chord with you.
I said, let's just do a video, especially about that film.
Yeah. So no one has heard of this film on the planet Earth except for us. And we're going to talk about it in a bit. But first, we're going to go through films we've watched. There have been a handful of films I've watched that I thought were just okay that I'm not going to bring up. But these are kind of like recommendations.
Yes.
It's me, my trusty paper. My paper. I'm going to start off with a nice, simple recommendation of a film to watch called Restless.
Cars. Cars.
Restless is a fantastic British film. It's a little British horror film, thriller, I'd say, more so than horror, about a lady who lives in shared wall duplex houses, and her parents have lived on the other side of the house. They passed away, and this guy eventually moves in after the other half of the house has been vacant for many years, and he's a true terror. So it turns into this horrifying, anxiety-inducing nightmare film about this lady who's being tormented by this guy who's constantly throwing parties and being super loud. And it drives her to the point of insanity.
Everybody's worst nightmare.
Yes, especially if you've lived in apartments or buildings with shared walls and had people that act like this. You can relate. You may have PTSD watching this. But, it's a nice, short, little thriller film that is engaging and satisfying at the end.
I think I know what that means. Actually, Pee-wee did Florida. It's weird to be in this situation having a documentary made because I'm used to having control of my alter ego.
Just continue on.
It's great. It's a fantastic documentary about somebody that's kind of tried to navigate Hollywood while retaining his privacy. That's why in the 80s when he was on talk shows and stuff, he would always appear as Pee-wee. He would never be Paul Rubens until he was kind of forced into the spotlight with his personal life due to the Florida porn theater incidents.
And then dark music. Bum, 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 bum. I lost control of my anonymity, and it was devastating.
But it's not a puff piece. It's not just Pee-wee, Paul Rubens was magical and he entertained children. Goes to some uncomfortable places, and it's really fascinating to see. There's like movie footage of him when he was super young, pre-Pee-wee. He looks like a super scrawny hippie. He looks like he'd be in a John Waters movie when he was in like his 20s. So just aspects of his life I've never seen footage of before. And it's great because even during the documentary was being made when he was sick, because he's such a private person, no one even knew he was sick, not even the filmmakers. And it's kind of fascinating to see they shot a series of interviews with him until he just stopped cooperating, and he didn't come back for the last round of interviews. So even in the new stuff, the new interviews with him, he's like fucking with the interviewers, fucking with the filmmakers, because he is clearly, even coming this far, he's clearly uncomfortable with getting too personal. That's just a fascinating glimpse at an eccentric and a unique artist. And I thought it was fantastic.
You love your Pee-wee.
I mean, I like Paul Rubens in general. I like Pee-wee. Grew up with Pee-wee, of course. But even beyond that, I think it's just an interesting documentary about someone in a very specific and unique kind of situation in the world of Hollywood or the world of celebrity.
I'm going to meet up with her and take enormous amounts of drugs. But I didn't.
My second pick is a little indie film called Marshmallow, which I also think you'll enjoy. It's about kids at summer camp.
I hear that you are going to summer camp.
And being sent to summer camp. tell your household that if you have any trouble sleeping, they can get in touch with us.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Hey, how are y'all? Welcome.
It's a horror film, or at least from the trailer, you see it as a horror film. So it's a little kid, and he's like a little awkward kid. He's like 12. He has a Will Byers, Stranger Things haircut, and he's sent off to summer camp by his parents, Corbin Burnson, and the lady who plays the warden on Orange is the New Black. Forget it from me. They're the big stars in the film. They're the big films. My apologies to Corbin Burnson.
Hey, Corbin Burnson was the dentist. Give him the respect he deserves.
They're the names in the film. Everyone else is just kids, or there's a bunch of camp counselors. There are the teens, and the whole setup is like very Friday the 13th-esque. There's a campfire scene where they tell the legend of the doctor in the woods. And they show creepy footage of this guy with a light on his head. He's gonna get you. Oh, it's just a ghost story, and horror movie. But then the movie has a Shyamalan twist to it that I won't reveal, but makes it an interesting little gem of a film. It's a nice twist to something that could have just been really kind of cliched and standard. So on that alone, it's worth a watch.
Okay. That also British? It's not.
It's not. Okay. I don't know who made it. Somebody made it.
Somebody made it.
I love digging around on Fandango, formerly Voodoo, to find trash.
Well, you definitely did. We'll get to that. This is a gem. This is what I was completely unaware of. IMDb says it came out in 2023, but I think that was like film festivals and stuff. It only just now got released, and it's called Mancunian Man, which I don't even know what that word meant. But it's apparently that Mancunian is someone from Manchester. And this is the ultimate best of the worst documentary about one of our favorite topics on Best of the Worst, which is the black tank top filmmaker. The ego-driven vanity project action movie starring the writer-director who's always wearing a black tank top at some point in the film. And this one is about a guy I was completely unaware of until seeing the documentary. His name is Cliff Wenlow, which I absolutely cannot say properly ever. But he is a British muscle man, big bodybuilder guy. He was also a nightclub bouncer. There was also a songwriter, and then a novelist. And then he decided to make vanity project action movies, shot on video, 80s action movies. His first movie was called GBH, which stands for Grievous Bodily Harm. And that's the only one he had any mild success with. He somehow became a video nasty. I guess he's like a nightclub bouncer that I guess punches too many people, and that got it on the video nasties list. I don't know, but then it was just downhill from there. It was just a documentary about his exploits trying to make his vanity action movies. As he got older, the budgets got lower.
Cliff realized that there was a fabulous potential market for
Why not shoot it on video? It's a real big innovation. And one of the interesting things is, I think it's like his second movie, he shot it in Grenada. And the stipulation, the reason Grenada allowed him to shoot there, he was like a James Bond type movie, and it had a Russian communist femme fatale villain. And the only reason they let him shoot there is if he rewrote it so she was the hero of the film. So he did that, and then while they were there making the movie, Grenada got invaded by the U.S. So he just starts filming like the helicopters and the tanks, and he just filmed it and put it in the movie. And it's in the film.
Shoot the rodeo.
Shoot the rodeo. So it's a classic best of the worst tale about a talentless but interesting man with a drive to make his vanity project.
Sad.
And no, I mean it does get sad at the end because he's a big muscle guy. He got addicted to steroids. He ended up having a heart attack. So that aspect of it is sad. It doesn't fit well with the darker aspects. It's mostly just a showcase for his movies.
now I want to see. I've never seen any of them. I've never heard of this guy. But I look forward to watching Grievous Bodily Harm.
Can you get his films, or
Yeah, they're a box set that came out because the documentary is made by Severin Films, the boutique Blu-ray label, and it played some film festivals. But now they have a box set with the documentary and all of his movies on it.
Cliff Trumbull would be proud.
Cliff Trumbull.
Made it, man.
He made it. So that's Mancurian Man, the legendary life of Cliff Trumbull. That's another interesting thing about him is he has the most awkward name to say, and he had different pseudonyms for different. Like he was a songwriter. One of his songs was actually in the original Dawn of the Dead. Weirdly enough, but yeah, he had a stage name as a songwriter. He had a stage name when he wrote books, and some of his movies he has a stage name when he's acting, and they're all different. So he has all these pseudonyms, and they're interviewing someone that worked with him. And they're like, he had such a huge ego. All he wanted was to be famous. I don't know why he kept using all those pseudonyms. Then no one knew who he was.
Maybe he was hedging his bet.
If one took off.
Yeah, like if he became a great writer, then now that he made terrible B movies. Oh, God, that's that guy? Keeping all the lanes separate. Smart man, Cliff Trumbull.
It didn't really work out for him. No. But at least now there's a box set with all of his films collected into one package.
I'm so excited to never watch them. Joe, watch the film that Variety said feels like a sinister VHS deep in Midwest closet. I'm surprised you haven't heard of this. It's called Dead Male.
No, I haven't.
With that tagline by Variety, sinister VHS from deep in Midwest closet.
Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. Oh, although I would say it feels like a sinister real 8mm film. Because I don't know if it was shot on like either a 16 or probably 16mm or just filtered all the house.
Dead male as in dead gender male?
It really should be called Dead Letter because there's the plot revolves around the Dead Letter office at the mail. It takes place in the 80s. It's a weird movie. You'll see in the trailer there's a guy who's being held captive and he crawls his way to like a mailbox, like a postal mailbox, not a house mailbox.
Right.
And he writes, "I've been kidnapped. I'm at this house on this street." Puts it in there, and so then it cuts to the Dead Letter office, and then this guy's investigating it. The guy who gets kidnapped is a guy who is designing his own circuit board for a synthesizer.
Okay.
As he gets kidnapped by a psychopath who's secretly in love with him. He has him building his own synthesizer so that he can start a synthesizer company. But then once he gets a job offer in like Japan to work for like Yamaha, he goes crazy and he decides to kidnap him because he's in love with him.
Okay.
And the whole time this Dead Letter office is investigating like where this bloody letter came from. I don't know, it gets convoluted, but it's such a strange premise, and it's so odd.
Okay.
I think you'd like it.
Well, I want related to Creepy People that we both saw, Friendship. Howdy. We watched the Tim Robinson vehicle, Friendship. Is it a vehicle for Tim Robinson? It definitely feels like something that was made with him in mind, because this is what I got out of it. I liked the movie a lot. I didn't love it. I kept waiting for it to go in some sort of strange direction or get really crazy or weird at the end, and it didn't. It plays it all pretty straight as far as the narrative goes, but it does feel like something that was kind of made with, because we are fans of I Think You Should Leave, Tim Robinson's just general bizarre persona, and the movie feels like something that was kind of made with that in mind to move that persona into a movie that is still accessible to kind of average people.
And it didn't go too far.
It doesn't go too crazy. There's no coffin flop or anything like that.
I thought this would have been written by Tim Robinson, but it wasn't. It was written by some guy, written and directed by some guy. So, but there are very Tim Robinson-esque moments in there. So I don't know what.
I feel like it was probably written with him in mind. It would almost have to be, or when he came on board, he kind of did some uncredited rewrites because there's a lot of it that feels very
or ad-libs or whatever.
like the opening when he's pouring his coffee, he fills it right to the brim, and then he's trying to walk back to his desk, and it feels completely off. Like weird things like that that feel like they belong on. I think you should leave.
I think some of the stuff I laugh at the most with the Tim Robinson skits are like the straight man reaction to his absurdity and how he acts. And a lot of it is just like social settings, like parties or work, where everyone is just straight and he's crazy. Like when people like when he just says super weird things, super weird things.
It genuine comes across genuinely unhinged.
Yeah,
something's wrong with him.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of them. There's worse shit on the local news.
and that's this in a certain way, especially his relationship with Kate Mara, his wife, who has a grown teenage son who may or may not be his, and who kisses her on the mouth. And I think she's really the son of the firefighter that she's like also sleeping with him.
They don't go into it, but
They don't go into it. I thought they would, and it's absurd. This is very like Cable Guy-esque. He befriends the new neighbor, Paul Rudd, like the weatherman, He tries to kind of come into a friend circle, but he just doesn't gel because he's so weird. You know, strange stuff that goes in the sewer, like losing his wife in the sewer. That was worse. Thompson missing. I don't know. Like what was the first? Just strange.
when he breaks into Paul Rudd's house and the cops show up, and he's like, "Is your wife home?" No. Where is she? In the stewards.
Yeah.
Like that kind of almost deadpan. She's not here. Where is she? She's in the sewer. What'd you say?
The funny part is the reaction. Actually, it's funny, and I don't know if I call this a vehicle because he is so like razor sharp specific in terms of like the kinds of roles he could play. Like he can't be like a lead in a movie like a regular normal guy movie.
Right.
In anything that was just so.
He couldn't play the Paul Rudd role in this movie.
No, in anything.
In anything. He couldn't play the lead in a Marvel.
There's a new Marvel out.
It's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
No.
Yeah.
That's very Tim Robinson.
Yeah. It looked like a Marvel.
But yeah, I mean, so this I was kind of also waiting for this to get outrageous or just to escalate out of control. Freddy got fingered. Oh, sure. There's a house. What was it at the end? The truck in the desert.
Just they cut out a corner of the house and he moves his dad's bedroom.
So
And then he shoots elephant semen. That doesn't happen in this.
no, it doesn't get that far. But
It's more somewhat grounded.
yeah,
While still having that kind of like the oddness of his character.
yeah, it has a good payoff. I like the culmination of the plot. Just cute and clever, like what happens with Paul Rudd, and the secret that he keeps. The wink at the end. It kind of sells it, you know. But just wish it would have. Just a little more.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
What else you got, idiot?
Very quickly, I saw the new Final Destination film, Final Destination Bloodline, because I love the Final Destination movies. I think they are funnier than most comedies. This is another one of them.
What's happening to us? Years ago, I had a premonition that started it all. I saw what death was about to do.
Not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not doing anything new or groundbreaking for the Final Destination franchise, but it's a very solid effort. Not the worst, not the best, but it is definitely one of them.
I thought we were talking about movies we love.
I love the series as a whole. So this to me was like, because it's been so long since the last one, kind of feels like it's like a comfort movie. It's like a warm blanket of a movie. They didn't try to go too weird or different. Trying to do like a legacy sequel where they bring back old characters. It's just like a very solid Final Destination movie. And I, much like Friendship, there was a few moments where I laughed extremely hard.
You love seeing people get killed.
Well, it's not even that. It's the setup. The long, complicated, Rube Goldbergian setup. It's like the setup to a joke, and then at the joke you have the punchline. It's just in these movies, the punchline is some sort of like horrific, shocking death. But because of the build-up, it ends up being very funny.
All right.
Sometimes there's an irony to it. Sometimes it subverts it, where there's a long
Someone gets
setup.
hit with an iron.
That probably happens.
It's real irony.
That happened in Home Alone. Do you remember that? And the iron drops on Daniel Stern's face.
Good job on your review of Final Destination.
If you like those movies, it's good. It's a solid new entry.
How dare you? Full of lines. Like, I don't know, I'm tired of this trash. Jurassic World, Rebirth.
No, sure.
I mean, come on. Really, Jay? You picked some kind of legacy sequel?
It's a good one.
That's good for you. I love doing deep dives and trying to find trash films on Fandango.
I mean, that can be fun as well.
Which leads us into our big film.
From the creator, Final Destination.
And I found no record of this director having anything to do with Final Destination.
No, the director didn't. One of the producers of the movie wrote the first Final Destination. That's it. His name's Jeffrey Reddick. He worked on some other things.
He has nothing to do with this film.
He produced it. He was one of several producers. But he didn't write it. He didn't direct
Both these would be false.
it. I know he just has his name attached. Maybe he had some financial stake in it. For his sake, I hope not.
And it would be in the white box.
The creators of Final Destination.
No.
Right?
Well, everybody is fine.
Only one box is true.
Yeah.
No. This is false. No. It was true. These are both false. And it's in white. No, that doesn't make any sense.
It's time to talk about the other.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Alright.
Wow.
Now, you recommend movies to me. Like Marshmallow, you said is actually good. The rest of this is good. I have not watched either of those yet. Dead Mail, I will watch all of those at some point. But for some reason, this is the first one out of your recommendations that I went to. Because I wasn't sure when you were explaining it to me if you were recommending it ironically or not.
Then this is
And now
the
I'm
blue
not
box
sure
contains
I'm recommending it to everybody. And I'm
this
not
is
sure
false.
if I'm recommending it ironically or not. It may be the world's first
I think it's white.
slow burn, so bad it's good movie, because you're not going to laugh hysterically through most of the film.
No.
It's a very cheap and very clunky attempt at like an A24 type movie or a Hereditary. Like that's most of the runtime is that, and it's very poorly done. And it looks like I think you had mentioned it looks like a Lifetime movie. The acting and the visual, like the cinematography, it's very like flat and bright. So when it started, I was like, "What am I watching?"
Yeah, when it starts, I think the first lines of dialogue are spoken by an adoption counselor, and she's not good.
She understands speech. She's clever. She finds ways to communicate, so it's not as challenging as it sounds.
And the couple that adopts the girl in the film, they're a an attractive young couple, and they look like actors that are pulled straight out of Hallmark.
Yes.
And where do I start? Kind of moment. Kind of. It's a bad concept.
Well, I need you to explain the concept to me because I got so confused as far as what the fuck the lore was.
Well, that's the thing. As it goes along, it goes off the rails, and then it becomes like a lot. I compared it to Malignant.
Well, let's set it up before we get to the spoilers.
Okay.
The basic premise, we'll get that out of the way.
Basic premise is a young couple cannot have kids. The wife has had a series of miscarriages, so they decide to adopt. And they adopt a young black girl who's a mute.
If that's true, and this is, then these, if that's true, it's the only true one. They're both false, right?
Who has come from a horrific family tragedy.
If they're both false, it's got to be
Her
white.
mother killed her father and others. I don't know. There's like a murderous situation, and she survived, and they don't know if she's from that or from birth.
If this is true, one box is true, and this is
And so they adopt her because they want a kid.
Yes.
the blue box does not
She
contain
brings
the
along
gems,
some kind of spooky curse or entity.
and the black
or
box does
something
not
that
contain the gems. Therefore, the white box. That's what I just said.
Causing their bathroom to become
Give them about 3 gems.
and causing weird, placental-like
All right.
fluid.
Now we go back to the passageway.
Weird. It's like
Gems and keys in tow.
It's like
Give me that laundry room.
Ghostbusters 2.
yes. Or it's like the material from the '80s, The Blob, because their neighbor in this movie is played by Shawty Smith. Well, most people nowadays probably go from the Saw movies.
Yeah. Their neighbor is a punk rock lady, and she has a daughter with Down syndrome.
Yes.
Who is
And it's got a key card door and a dead end. Awesome.
Hereditary girl. They couldn't find an actress as perfect as the Hereditary girl. So unfortunately, they got a girl with Down syndrome to serve as the weird kind of girl that has sort of a spiritual connection.
Okay.
Ethereal and otherworldly.
Okay. Ooh, well, we got the crank, but it's already down, so we don't need that.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. I feel like that's an
extra chromosome gives you a spiritual power.
I feel like it's some sort of trope, and I can't think of another example. But it's like, yeah, the idea of like the magical, mentally challenged person, like Forrest Gump or something. Yeah. I mean, at least they didn't have someone in this movie like acting
There's a
like
gem
they
on the
did.
patio, I'll take it. Usually there's a gem on the patio. Right here.
They did do, yeah, riding the bus with my
The
sister.
tools. Oh.
Didn't do that. They cast someone, and they try to be tasteful about it, I guess. Yeah, but it is very clunky. And it's very weird that it's like, oh, magical Down syndrome person. But that's their neighbor, and she sort of befriends the little girl. Yeah, they form a little bond. They rip apart dolls, I guess. That's it.
Yeah. Now, before we get to spoiler territory, I wanted to bring up something because we talked about Paul Etheridge, the director, and how this film says from the producer of Final Destination.
From the creator.
Yeah. Yes, and it is, right? The guy who wrote the script.
The guy who wrote the original Final Destination movie was one of the producers of this movie.
And it's very obvious that this movie is trying to prop itself up with that kind of credit, with casting Shawnee Smith in the film who's done horror movies. And I can't fault them. You got to do what you can to survive in a very competitive world in a streaming movie.
No, sure, something. You have a little bit of horror pedigree.
The trailer was well put together. At first, it's a real movie. Fascinating. I'm like, okay, there's some good visuals in this. It could be a good film. And so I did a little research because I was interested if anyone else had heard of this film.
I saw like 2 IMDb user reviews
investigating. The two IMDb reviews are by users that both only have one IMDb review. Both reviews use similar words and have very similar structure and grammatical usage.
Okay.
Also word count. The word count is near identical.
It's also possible that they sound similar because now people are using AI. Write me a review of this film, and it comes out some specific way.
I don't know if they're real reviews. You said there weren't.
There weren't. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, there might be like 2 reviews, 2 or 3, but not enough where it gets anything. It doesn't get tomato over flat. Now you have to have a minimum amount of reviews for that to happen.
Okay.
All I know, if I were to give this movie a rating of 1 to 10 stars, I would give most of it 4 stars, and then the climax 27 stars.
Yeah.
Let's get into that. So yeah, most of the movie is people in a house. Crazy things. It's vague. What's happening? There's flies on their sandwiches. That type of stuff where it's supposed to be creepy, but it looks like a Lifetime movie, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
To be fair, they do, as the movie goes along, the cinematography gets darker, there's more contrast, there's more shadow.
Yeah.
So I think it's supposed to be like a slow descent into the horror. Yeah. But when your movie starts looking like a toothpaste commercial, it's kind of off-putting.
I think it's just what happens.
Something's not right.
They just look like they're people from advertisements.
Yes.
And it's weird.
Unlike Hereditary, which is like Toni Collette and Gabriel Byrne. Not that they're not attractive people or whatever, but they look more like lived in. They look like normal people.
Yeah.
They don't look like they were pulled out of
Like a target pack.
Yeah,
And I think it's detriment to the film a little bit. The point of the movie is that she has had miscarriages, and they both want to start a family with a cat.
Mm.
So they should look like they're I don't know, not have good, but struggling more.
Sure.
I don't know. And then they have a beautiful home. His job is we're kind of delaying spoilers.
We'll get there. But just like the movie, it'll take us a long time.
He's like a science teacher. He's on summer break from school, and he has this. One of the rooms in the house is his like science office.
It's like a workshop / science lab,
And it's terrible.
Well, it's the set deck for it. It's so like clean. It doesn't look like a lived-in like workspace.
Exactly what I was thinking.
You have the microscope is like perfectly placed, so when you do the dolly shot across the room, it's dead center of the frame. It's not surrounded by other junk. You gotta have
It needs to look lived in.
yes.
It needs to look used. It looks like a set.
And then it goes along with the makeup too as it goes along. The wife starts to. This is where it gets very Hereditary, like where the wife starts to get possessed by this evil, whatever is going on, and she looks like she belongs in like a local haunted house. That makeup, very goofy looking, very cheap. So that another aspect where it's like everything feels like it belongs in a commercial. Halloween, a Target commercial around Halloween. Make up your model / actress to look like a ghoul.
And those are
Bagoo. I got a bagoo.
the director.
I'll
Maybe just a
take it.
respiratory problem.
Maybe. Well, I was wondering because there is a way to do a movie that starts almost satirical, where it looks like a Lifetime movie, and then it degrades
Interesting.
into creepy, weird, disturbing horror. But that has to feel intentional. This doesn't feel intentionally like it's doing that.
Right.
Especially when you get to the end. They're like, are they still trying to be a Hereditary movie with
Both.
this? Like,
Oh, that was magnetic.
Okay, speaking of the grades, let's talk about the plot. But before we talk about the plot, we're going to pause and let the people that are watching reflect and decide if they want to watch the film before going any further on this adventure.
I would say you should, because you will be shocked by the end. You should watch this film. I'm recommending it.
That's great, because I get right back over here without having to go through all the bullshit.
It's still worth it.
Well, I would say it's more worth watching not knowing where to go.
Okay.
So watch it before we spoil it, but we will spoil it because that's where all the good stuff is.
Even just like thinking about the technical construction.
That would be
movies.
dope.
Because you
Alright.
noticed his.
Let's go into the foundation for a second.
And I did too.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
Keys.
that's a lot of people out there.
What's going on here? No, that counts as a room. There's nothing down there.
Brain dead.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah,
No, it
you
doesn't.
notice like something subconsciously, you'll notice that the set looks like a set. It's like that it needs to look like you've done stuff in this room, and that someone just didn't come and set it up and make it look like the set to the guy's size thing.
Yes.
We still live in
You don't want it to look like that in a TV commercial. You don't want too much clutter.
Yeah.
But for a movie, yeah. And we're back.
And we're into spoiler territory.
Yes, spoilers.
So I'm sitting here watching this now after you.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
After we've made the Amazon rentals spike.
Stage. Stage.
Now, this is as you said, this is the beginning. This isn't a lockout constantly kind of movie. It's not the slow burn as the fake review suggested. Horror movie that becomes more backlit as it goes on. It is like the movie *Malignant*, which is a fun movie.
Yes. Well, that's like a fully realized concept. I don't understand what's happening in this movie. They go to the wife starts
I
to.
can't answer all your questions.
I hope you can because I was not understanding the lore, the supernatural lore established in this film. Because yeah, like in *Malignant*, it turns out she has her twin sister, her conjoined twin, is on the back of her brain, and sometimes she passes out and the twin takes over and murders people. And that's your premise. There's something similar to this in this where it turns out that the little girl has a twin when she was in the womb that died or didn't fully form. It was just stuck in her brain. You can observe your twin. So that's what happened on her
But it
brain.
ended up in her brain.
In a very, very weird scene with the doctor. The doctor is explaining all this. He's bad, and he's trying to be funny in the way he's like, you had a twin sister and you ate her up.
But a courtyard. Courtyard's what I need.
When Cecilia was in the womb,
What I want. It's a freezer.
Until Cecilia ate her.
Metal detector. We know. There's metal.
I'm like, why is this in this movie? Especially at this point in the story. This is when it's supposed to be darker and
The
creepier.
director is terrible. And it's like,
I
how
saw
the
something.
doctor explain this to a kid in a funny way. You know, the doctor would tell it to the parents quietly in another room.
Yes, yeah.
Don't tell these fucking kids this until they're 30.
He's trying to explain this to this little girl, but he's explaining it in a way that makes it so much more disturbing than it should be. You ate your sister.
That good,
With lighting that makes
a good gig here.
Yes, that's
So
again
far.
the lighting. It's so like flat and even.
That would be something. Yeah.
Because of this twin sister that's not even completely formed, that's in her brain. When she gets adopted, when the girl gets adopted, somehow these people that can't get pregnant
That works.
get pregnant.
That works. Gets me back to the
With
commissary
spirits
quickly without having to go all the way
The
around.
twin?
But first there's an escalation.
Stupid that I went
Okay.
through that way.
Yes. The
Twice,
wife
twice
does
and
start
stuff.
to miscarry.
Commissary. I need keys. They don't probably have any.
She realizes she's pregnant because
Need a
they set
shovel.
in the disgusting swimming pool.
Yes.
And so she gets pregnant for real.
Yes. But it's unclear if that pregnancy. The timeline too is confusing because I don't know how much time passes. She has a
Keys and food, baby. Keys and food.
where you have a stillbirth that has calcified into like a rock.
I was under the impression, because she's like, oh, I'm pregnant, and the next scene she has a belly.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that it was
That's it.
expedited pregnancy because of supernatural
Yes,
nonsense.
but the husband makes no notice of that.
No.
Like, oh, you're at 9 months already? That's been a week. Well, this is unusual.
No, at no point does he say this is weird.
He just goes.
It's probably locked.
I guess.
Nope.
Then again, they've never been pregnant before. Maybe they don't know how it works.
Oh right. Yeah. Yeah.
Robin, I think they're going to get you to the hospital.
No, but the little girl, she's. I think they say in the film she's been mute since birth because that conjoined her. The twin that she absorbed in the womb when she was an infant or a fetus has lodged itself in her brain in the part that speech happens.
Yes.
Like Homer Simpson and the crayon.
Mr. Simpson, I'm afraid you have a crayon lodged in your brain.
And she can't talk. And I suppose that means she also can't write things down. Who writes the address down at the previous? She does, right?
I think she does, yeah.
Yes. So she can write things down.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh,
But
footsteps,
she's-
baby. Alright, but this is probably locked, right?
Sister in her brain.
No. It's the magical Down syndrome girl that helps her by hitting her in the head with a hammer.
Yes.
On the off chance that the doctor will do a CT scan of her brain and
Conference room's
discover
locked too.
this tiny blip on her X-ray that indicates that she has a microscopic absorbed twin in her brain that's lodged in the part that forms speech.
I don't know if I checked this
Because that
today.
Down syndrome girl knows a lot.
She's magical.
She's magical. She has magical supernatural abilities.
Yeah, as the mom explains at one point, because her father died, right?
Please give me a key.
She sees dead people, yeah. To her, there's no difference between dead people and living people.
Yes, yes.
So I guess she sees the sister in her brain, and that's why she smacks it with a hammer.
Right.
I guess.
Bastards, dude.
And what will happen at the hospital?
That was a choice.
Hitting someone in the temple is probably not a good idea.
Oh, there's worse ideas by the end of it. We'll get there.
That's the only other choice. I could go try the patio and see if there's a key there. Yeah, let's plant this up. Is there any other green
And the
rooms?
whole
No.
time, I mean, this girl, I don't know if she's a good actress, but I think she needs to be memed.
Okay. Nice.
Like this.
Half the time, it seems like she doesn't even know she's in the movie. Like, she didn't even know the cameras were rolling. It's fine. Nothing against her, but it's like, you gotta direct her to emote or do something.
I mean, I think they did their best.
I mean, if they did, maybe they did their best. I don't know.
She made the bitch a you for real face quite a bit.
Do you like crust or no crust on your sandwiches? I think you're a no crust girl. Me too.
So what happens then?
Then the wife gets pregnant.
Yeah.
And then the pregnancy happens very quickly. And then she starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
She starts to get possessed, or how can the ghost, or how can the absorbed twin manifest herself in the belly of the wife? That's kind of what's happening, and that's happened in the past, because that's when they go visit the previous foster couple, where the husband goes in, he just leaves the little girl in the car, and then she follows him in with like a tire iron. She knows
That's
what
it.
bad's going to happen.
Right.
That's it.
And that's what,
There's anywhere.
like in the recliner lunges at him. She's tied
You
to the
go
chair.
in the background, but
She's still
shit.
possessed.
I guess.
But
why is she
No key,
yeah.
no diggity, no
The
doubt.
wife is also, she has
No way to get anywhere.
dead baby fetuses in her closet in the car.
Keys
One
anywhere.
person's in a jar, the second one's just in like a little plastic Tupperware container. She brings it to the hospital in that very awkward doctor scene.
Yeah.
I thought that doctor was Julie Brown at first.
Everyone in the dark room, yeah.
Julie Brown.
Yeah, right. It's a key in there.
But she's like, look, here's this. And then this little, like, plastic Tupperware.
You have to go to the breaker.
Right. But you gotta go to the hospital. Those are the most rational thing.
Closet, which is,
Robin, we have to get you to the hospital for a full examination today.
Yeah, she just shows up with a fetus in a Tupperware jar. And you gotta go to the hospital. No. Okay, it's fine. The wife's
yeah,
possessed.
2 steps.
But I don't understand the possession.
What's the range? Is the possession? It would make sense if the fetus was lodged in her brain with like spiritually like impregnating someone so that she could give birth and finally born, and then get her revenge.
Yeah.
Like it would be great if this was like 10 years later. You know, like they adopt this girl, and then instantly
That's right.
she gets pregnant. And
Forgot about this.
And you know, 10 years later, the little girl's walking around with a knife, like trying to get revenge on her now 20-year-old sister.
Yeah.
Why is the older woman who's changed her lazy boy still possessed, and what is she possessed of?
Well, is she possessed, or is she just trying to kill the little girl because the little girl, their sister, brain sister, impregnated her, and she went crazy from the pregnancy and the, I guess, miscarriage? The lady tied to the chair.
How would she want to get revenge?
And she's mad.
Or what?
The miscarriage that happened because of the little girl. I don't know.
To keep any secrets?
I think Ophelia brings along a dark entity where she goes, and the dark entity manifests itself in whatever way is convenient for the movie.
Oh, okay.
Why can't supernatural entity have a successful baby if they have supernatural powers?
I don't know.
Why the failures? Why the attempts? Because why the placenta grew in the pool? Like, was a pool? Was it meant to lure them in so they could have sex?
Like, it's very roomy in there.
Now, did you actually impregnate her in the pool sex scene, or
That's what I thought.
then why did they just have regular baby?
Because it was a horror movie. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what's happening. The lore of this film is completely baffling.
Secrets or something.
So what we have here is failure to communicate. Then the father begins to suspect something when his wife looks like she's covered in Target Halloween makeup and also has now 9 months pregnancy in her belly.
Yeah.
And is bleeding in the bathtub and screaming. And
This is now her third or fourth miscarriage? I don't understand the multiple miscarriages.
you don't get hung up on this.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
All right.
He then urges her to go to the doctor. She refuses, and then he does nothing. Then Cecilia writes down an address and tells him to go to her former adoption parents. They act crazy, and they barely escape. I think she tries to climb into the car. And
Yeah.
In a little mini action scene, then he just goes home. I guess you just go home.
I mean, you gotta go home.
And I think well, that's obviously after the Down syndrome girl hits her in the head with a hammer, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, he knows that there's a malformed, absorbed spring in her brain. And he doesn't really know what to do about this whole situation. So he knows that the Down syndrome girl knows something.
Something terrible is happening in my family. And Fiona knows what.
That has because he sees her like hiding in the yard. Oh, and she teaches Cecilia how to kill dolls. Remember they throw dolls into the river?
Yeah, they're ripping them apart.
She makes a Barbie that has
How did you do that?
indicates two consciousnesses.
Yes.
And then so he's like, did you make this Barbie? What do you know? What are you not telling us? Cecilia has a special thing. Oh. Now Syndrome Girl also can spiritually detect people's aura. She talks about the colors, and then also that in also there's a window.
Yeah.
She said, that lady's a window.
That lady is a door.
And she's talking about the light. Which means if you're a window, then you can be open to paranormal / spiritual infestation.
Yeah. You can be open to 15 miscarriages.
You're really hung up on that.
It's weird. It's a weird detail.
I think they're just failed attempts at the twin to create babies.
Okay.
Which I assume its goal would be to birth itself.
Yeah. But it seems like the miscarriages happen over the course of like 3 or 4 days. It feels like it's one after the other.
I don't know what well, logically, okay, he's on break as a teacher.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Daniel is on summer break, and I work from home most of the time, so we'll be together.
And he never has a call where they're like, you got to get back to work.
So it's only a couple months of summer break. Yeah.
So literally, she has 9 months of pregnancy belly at just a couple of days, and he is completely clueless. So they said, I think at some point he said he should go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But so the wife goes crazy, and the doctor then shows up at their house.
Well, no, this is where it's very hereditary, where the wife is like scuttering around. She unlocks the door and then runs away. But then the doctor comes in slowly, and you have that creepy scene. It's gonna happen. I feel so much for this doctor character. There was in one other scene. So much tension.
Breaker shit.
So then, yeah, we get to our conclusions, which is
Why did I even do that?
She really gives it to that doctor.
Yeah.
No, the darker. It's
She,
wasting other stuff.
this husband in the stomach. Yeah. The Down syndrome girl is there. Does Shawnee Smith die?
Yes, she gets Claire's throat.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and she said some kind of stupid line.
Yeah.
When she was 5, her pet cat died. I was wrecked, but not feeling it. To her, the cat wasn't any different.
It's like a callback to something from earlier.
It was cringy.
Yeah.
I'm the cat.
Okay, so this monster thing, is that...
But then the husband, Daniel, gets a scissor stab right to the gut, right in the center of his belly, and normally that's like a kill. But in this movie, it's not.
That's fine. She's chasing him through the house at this point. It becomes very like The Shining. They show the wife with, I think she has like a sledgehammer. She's trying to knock down the door. It's that profile shot from The Shining. She's
Okay.
Demon possession lady now.
Damn.
You know, you make space, guys. You make space. You look right. How is to others?
And so, based on the advice of the Down syndrome girl who has The Shining,
Yes.
what is the course of action for the film?
Oh, they do set this up. Earlier in the movie, we see Cathelia. Like, she's putting tools under her bed, including a drill. So the drill comes back at the end, where they decide that the only way to stop this is to immediately make the wife not possessed. If they drill out the brain sister, and they don't just use like a drill bit, like a normal small drill bit, use like a half-inch hole saw bit.
I'll say I didn't see that coming. No, I got the accordion. I thought I screwed myself. I mean, I know this isn't good. Open the box. Let's check this out. Oh, I've been here before. I've been here before. You, especially Lucky Kid. 8 for this
Why'd you shoot it out wrong? Let's do everything wrong. It seems like weird.
Not.
It'll be like the heart's so bad that his comb over flies off.
When they have those press conferences for that Section 31 movie, all the interviewers all said the movie was lots of fun. That'll be that's code for it was really bad.
This movie is so much fun. I made it. It's so much fun. It is very fun. Now, Nightmare at Noon was lots of fun.
It was. I watched the movie, and let me just say, it was a lot of fun. But why did you do everything wrong? That would be the Nightmare at Noon. Sure, they'd be on a YouTube channel like George Kennedy. Sure, great to have you with us on the screen part.
Let's go left this time.
And let me just say, it was a lot.
I just can't go straight.
But why were you so shitty yourself? Well, I wasn't. I mean, in real life, I was. But in the script, I was turning into one of them zombies.
I was really engaged by the
Look at that.
I'm just curious why you made the decision in the third act to have everybody just kind of wander around in the desert for 30 minutes. Well, you see, we had some horses.
We had a lot of footage of the helicopter. We filmed 65 reels of film, helicopter sticks to each other. My mom back in Rio says, don't waste the film.
What inspires you to abandon the entire premise of the film?
We ran out of ideas. We got to start. First of all, let me say, the movie's a lot of fun. First of all, let me just say it's a lot of fun. But what inspires you to abandon the entire premise? What's your motivation? First of all, the movie is a lot of fun. But what's your motivation?
I like this.
To film that? 60 minutes extremely boring. Were you trying to clear out the theater for the next film? Was it a tactic to get people to return to the central trip?
If people leave the theater earlier, they can clean the theater faster, like by the movie actually ends, they can start the screening that much sooner. They can squeeze in like an extra screening a day that way.
Yeah. There's nobody left in the theater for the last 30 minutes. So
Bring in the answer! Bring in the answer!
There's squeeze an extra film screening to today. To revive the film, everyone's a nut. It's a fight with the fun two horses. It's like clockwork. They leave at 68 minutes. First of all, let me just say.
it's a lot of fun.
I had to build the acid. Christopher film this movie was fun. Put me in the dirt. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's when the more townsfolk start to get infected. In this tiny small town, we get a guy on a motorcycle who's gone nuts.
Oh, Jesus.
That zombie or?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah! What blew up?
The car?
Oh my God, what's on fire? Oh God, yeah. Wow.
That stuntman died.
And that was amazing.
Yeah,
sure. The motorcycle hits a car. There's several cars that explode when they're impacted for no reason. When the motorcycle got out
Okay. I like this.
Man with a fucking life.
And
He's not the town mayor.
It's cool.
Let's go.
Let's go here.
Slap the
And that stuntman was flying at his butt was on fire, and he was flying at such a bizarre angle, and then to where I think he died upon impact. Because he flies out of camera range, so they cut because they didn't want to show that impact because it was too gruesome and horrific because he died. And then they cut and they show a different guy in the same costume just kind of like stumble on the ground. Sure. And we're like, that's not that same guy. That guy hit that ground so hard his spine snapped. And he goes covered it up.
No, that man was fine. He got off, dusted himself off, and walked right over the second order of the Black Eagle.
I guess that's where he is.
ATV.
It's war.
Yeah, first, I love the film. No. It was a lot of fun. Why did you kill that stuntman? I did not go on for it. He fucked my sister.
Special flowers.
Just to be sure, set him on fire. I read it.
His butt's on fire. Big no.
Basically, the beauty of the story, most of them take place after the outbreak has gotten out of control already. That to me seems like the beginning. I guess they kind of did it was just, like, oh, that was definitely make that way less. Hauser's wife, she's infected. We see her earlier, she's drinking water in the night. Yeah. So she turns into a zombie, they come back into the jail cell. I feel Mr. Sir.
Those white flowers. Flowers of white. Wait, what is this? There's this little poem. Find among the white flowers under two stone. I think I know what flowers. That's a white flower. Shit. Just, it's not it though.
Like an entertainment lawyer?
Yeah,
Never has anything to do with
White stone. Or white bushes. I already dug that hole up a million times. Alright.
These aren't zombies. They're just, I mean, I would ask why they
security is good company. Corridor. Man, that's a toughie.
I mean, we don't know what their ultimate reason for doing these experiments are. The movie. It's hard to say. Once the first 4 people died from
Clock.
Lock.
See.
If the Sidewalk was murdering other people, we're gonna get more to that stuff. It's an excuse to have, like, the cars explode. Chuck, why not?
That truck was just right there. It was in the middle of nowhere.
Sounds like bitches. Yeah. No.
like a tax scam.
Or give a shit.
You know, I do need to probably.
Lost in film production.
David Zaslav.
David Zaslav, Joey. Right off the movie.
Yeah, we chose this movie as a tax. Somebody used Parliament.
You gotta hear them all these
10,000 bullets and 10,000 cars. The movie was lots of stories.
Like the lorry, their ship went under. She said right up on the God. It was like maybe the larger scale of destruction. Because we have that scene with the top daughter. She said like weird, unfinished apartment complex or whatever the fuck it is. And she's chasing, there's a young girl running from her mom. Her mom is infected. Chasing after her. But the place is like.
Oh, that sucks. Guess what? Damn it. Dude, I keep doing this. I think I'm over architecting the first two ranks, to be honest. For sure. For sure. Like, oh, it's gotta fit. But I do like that.
Did they abandon this one? The rest of their adventure, you're off on your own. Watch out for the other 900.
Wow. Gotta go chapel, you know.
She lost her one daughter. Trying to conceive her.
Oh, thank goodness.
Motivation.
Something, yes, and yes, thank you. Something like that. And then she has that moment with the high school girl. But it was just a scene that happened. And then they moved on from it. It had nothing to do with the character whatsoever.
Or you go through, Ellen Ripley and Haley, the daughter, isn't joining the group. But you get a surrogate of the daughter as well.
Aliens, male motivation, something, yes.
Cool.
And, yes.
Yeah.
Now barricade yourself inside with the others. If anybody shows up that you don't know, let them know.
I did comment that George Kennedy was doing a fine job as the sheriff because he was trying to save his civilian lives. He said, shoot him, do those good. And then he was like showing up at the hospital, kind of like, okay, bring him in. And he's like, Janice, do you have enough horse tranquilizers? Keep them strapped down and keep them loaded up with tranquilizers. He was trying to save as many people as possible.
And the whole time he secretly knew, because he drank coffee that morning.
Bastards, dude, you know?
He secretly knew that he was going to terminate.
Wow.
Horrible experiment. That man is a professional veteran actor. Has he ever shown up in part ever? George Kennedy, is that ever been a thing?
Is it real life?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe later in his career.
I don't know. It's kind of is later in his
Coach.
career. Yeah. He always gives us, it sounds like a Cameron Mitchell, where it's like, you never know what you're going to get. Right. Or a Wings Hauser.
I think you should be nothing less than an obvious idol. One fine day, Wings, the fight with his father has been done, and he punched him so hard the guy's head went through the drywall. Wings got arrested. We had to bail him out to continue the show.
George Kennedy doesn't have that reputation for being the drunk actor. I don't think so.
No, I think he was just saying, here's a thing, movies like this, and he gives it his all. What I'm saying, props to George Kennedy.
Okay, yeah. He's had a great career. He passed in 2016.
Not till 2016?
Yeah,
Right?
Spring. It's waking. Really? Sage and looks like sage. It's not purple, but I think it's sage the stage.